Good morning and welcome back to the AMEDD Effect Podcast, where we discuss the causes and effects of Army medicine opportunities, along with information and resources readily available for military families on Army installations. I hope everyone enjoyed episode 11 with Lieutenant Colonel Noel, who is the Medical Recruiting Integration Officer, as she came in and discussed her roles as that she provides in helping future medical professionals. Now, today on episode 3 of our Army Life segments, I have Miss Shannon Wilson from the Fort Knox Army Community Service in the studio to talk about Fort Knox ACS, their programs, and how you can take advantage of their amazing opportunities.
Are you looking to pursue a successful healthcare career at one of the largest and most advanced medical facilities in the country? If so, look no further. The U.S. Army is here. Visit goarmy.com/AMEDD to learn how you can serve soldiers, their families, military retirees, and at times the general public while providing meaningful service.
Good morning, Ms. Wilson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Will. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, first, let me say, I would like to say thank you for taking the time out to stop by, come by the studio, talk to us about Army Community Service, and just spread the word more about what you all do for those in the Army and within the Army communities. Now, if you can, before we get started, if you could give our listeners a brief background on who you are, how long you've been with the ACS program, along with what your current role is.
Well, I have to start with that first and foremost. I'm a military spouse of almost 34 years, and my soldier retired in 2011.
Okay.
And so before that, in 2007, I was a financial counselor at Fort Polk, which is now Fort Johnson, and I did that for several years. And then in 2011, I came here to Fort Knox as the Financial Readiness Program Manager and did that for about 12 years. And then the last couple of years, I have been the Army Community Service Director or Division Chief. So it's been a life of military, so as a spouse, and then also working in the programs to help soldiers and their families, hoping that we can give back to the new soldiers and families coming in.
Let's give a round of applause to Miss Shannon for 34 years of marriage and a long time of serving her Army community through ACS. Ms. Wilson, can you give us, myself and listeners, the primary mission of Army Community Service Program?
Well, ACS is here to provide consistent and relevant services to enhance the soldier and family's life. So we provide all of their life skills and their education and prevention programs to help them to be successful in the Army.
Okay. Now, on military installations, why is community service an important aspect of Army life for soldiers and their families?
Well, community service is very important, but also building your community is very important. Mm-hmm. We're not near our families, and we don't have a support network. So ACS becomes part of that support network, and so when you're building your community wherever you are, then you're going to want to stop into an ACS or a military family support center. They're named different things on different installations, so it's important to make that first stop and get to know the programs there and ultimately build the community, build your network, and start with knowing what the resources are available to you, who are we partnering with, who are we working with, and network with the individuals that are actually in the military family support centers.
Now, speaking of building community, ACS programs are intended to support and empower Army families within their on-post and off-post communities. Mm-hmm. What are some of the key services and resources provided by ACS?
Well, we have over 13 mandated services that we must provide. And so we do have a laundry list of things that we do. However, information and referral is our number one. We're the answer people. So when you don't know where to find the answer, you don't know the information, you call ACS. And it's our job to find that information. If we don't know it, we're going to find it. We're going to look it up for you, but we probably already know it. Financial readiness is a key aspect of our programming to ensure that our soldiers and families have their personal financial education and literacy, all the way from basic spending plan all the way to retirement and estate planning, as well as to, buying a car, home buying. There's all kinds of things, but all of those things that we need, that support to make sure that we're successful in our finances. We also have new parent support that helps our families with children that are 0 to 3 with parenting and life skills. I teach them. It's called. It's an evidence-based program with teachers as parents.
Okay.
So that we make sure that our young parents are actually learning how to care for their children. They don't have their extended family near, so it's important for us to become that extended family and help them be that successful parent. We also have employment readiness program, helping our military spouses find employment wherever they are. So it's our job to keep a job bank or list of all of the people that are in our areas of who have current employment opportunities, and make sure that we're assisting them in developing their resume, making sure that it's critiqued and that they have good interview skills and dressing for success so that they can get those jobs that are here in their community.
Oh man, that's great, man. You all do a lot of things. And speaking of some of the things, now you did mention a few when you talked about a few, but I'm going to name off some of the other ones, and I may repeat some of the ones that you have already said. But for those listening, I'm going to give you some more of the programs that ACS provides that are available for you all. So financial readiness, relocation readiness program, survivor outreach services, family advocacy program, exceptional family member program, or EFMP, new parent support program, mobilization, deployment, and support stability operations, victim advocacy program, Army Family Action Plan, Army Volunteer Corps, employment readiness, Army Family Team Building. Now, people who listen to this podcast may not know that these programs exist, or if they qualify to participate in these programs. Can you give a little insight on who can benefit and participate in the programs and services that are provided by ACS?
Well, traditionally, it's our active duty soldiers and their families, retired soldiers and their families, National Guard and Reserves when they're on activated orders, or when they return from deployment, and they can utilize the programs for the year after that. And they can use it right up until when they get their orders as well, so they can prepare for deployment. And then our survivors of the fallen also get to utilize our programs. These are the survivors that they have lost their service members.
Okay.
So they can utilize our programs for as long as they desire. So it's up to them how long they would like to use our programs. And so our veterans and some of our transitioning soldiers that may have not retired, it is limited on space availability, but we do, let them come in when we have those spaces, especially for financial readiness and employment readiness, because we want them to be successful in their community. So if we have the space, then we will honor that.
Now, throughout life, people tend to go through, everyday life challenges that these challenges, they weigh on both people mentally and emotionally. From your years of service with ACS, how has the program impacted the mental and emotional well-being of military families?
Well, that's the beauty of the program, is that we're here to support their well-being. And by seeking or receiving our services, they're preventative and they're educational and they're guidant. They give guidance in reference to how to be successful, and it overall improves their well-being. So that will reduce that mental stress or anxieties or things that people have, because those programs are in place to reduce that. So it's very important for them to understand that they have a support system and network in programming.
Throughout the years, technology has been evolving. When COVID happened, everyone really had to rely on technology to communicate with the public to continue providing services. In your opinion, how has ACS evolved over the years, especially when it comes to changing needs for military families and advancement in technology?
Well, COVID taught us a lot.
It did.
And it forced us. It forced
Yes.
us into the age we're supposed to be in. And so, traditionally we were brick and mortar, face to face, in person, where COVID, said, hey, look, let's push these boundaries and we can do things virtually. We can be in a brick and mortar and still provide services virtually, remotely, and we do that on a consistent basis. Although we are in our building, we're there and ready to serve the walk-ins that come in our door, but we also have clients that aren't able to just walk in. They're at home with their children and they need a service, and so my staff is then working with them either phone, email, and also we have the use of Teams. So we have ability to do that, and we try to do our classes in a hybrid method so that if we have it in a classroom, that there's also the opportunity to chime in through the Teams. So we have advanced a lot, especially with our emergency financial assistance, where that used to be you had to come in person, then you would receive a check, and then you had to go cash it. Then we slowly advanced to where then it would get to direct deposit, so to speak, and that took a couple of days. To when COVID hit, then it really forced us into where now we can process requests or applications for emergency assistance remotely, and then they're zealing the money to the soldiers, and they're getting it instantly in their bank account. So we have advanced a lot since COVID, so I'm so happy for it.
On Army installations and outside of the gates of Army installations, there are local organizations that offer and provide services to military families. Are there any partnerships with local organizations or other military branches that enhance the services offered by ACS?
We do have partnerships that we work with very closely. However, I always want to key in that the service members and the family should always start with ACS. And so we're going to provide the services that we're mandated to do, because that's what we are being paid to do. Congress actually says that, you have to do these things. And those are the 13 programs that you named off earlier. And so we want to start there. And then when someone needs additional services or something that we aren't able to do, we're going to refer them to that program, because we've developed either a memorandum of understanding or some type of partnership with an on-post or an off-post organization to provide that additional extended service. But always start with your military family support center and then go from there, because they're looking out for your best interest to make sure you're getting the ones that we're working with, because they're in an agreement with the commander to say that I will do this and I will work in conjunction with this service, and they're at a certain standard that they have to meet.
Now, let me ask you this, because some people may not know. But say new soldiers, they're in the Army, they come to Fort Knox, but they live off post. We know that they are still able to utilize the services, but they may not know that they're able to utilize the services because they live off post. How do you all, is there a way to still get that information out there to them saying, hey, we still offer these services for you guys, even though you're off base?
Right. So, yes, all of our marketing, we do, encourage them to utilize their on-post resources. Now, if they are geographically dispersed, we want to make sure that they're going through the Military One source. Okay. That is the virtual ACS, basically. Okay. And so wherever they are, they can go on to Military One source, and then they'll have the same level of services, and those services will be virtual. And if they're near an installation, it doesn't matter what branch, they can go to that installation and receive that same level of service there. Okay. And so it might look a little bit different, like the name or something like that, but they have to provide those mandated services that Congress says that we have to, because all branches have to do that.
Okay. All right. Now, change is inevitable as the world is constantly evolving. Are there any upcoming initiatives or changes to ACS that you're excited about?
Well, we're always in the world of change, we've had so many new initiatives through the National Defense Authorization Act that we have been implementing over the past 5 years. And it's an ongoing, initiatives that we have to do. One that comes to mind right now is our financial literacy and milestones. And so soldiers have to complete career and life skill milestones, financial literacy training when they hit certain pivots. And so, for instance, if they get promoted, there's a financial literacy training to do that. If they're being, pre and post deployment, there's training for that. So there's everyone, marriage, divorce, having a baby, and it's been where we have to get out to the community and educate not only the soldiers but the commands on how important it is for them to do each of the levels when they meet those life or career points, so that they can because it has all the information in reference to that point in time in their life that they need financially to be successful for whatever it is. And so it's very important for them to actually do it and then document that in their training. And so the command has to keep track of that and everything. So we've been doing a lot of education about that and making sure that the commands are tracking, the soldiers are tracking, so that they can do that. And that has been one of our biggest push right now. There's others in family advocacy that we have been doing we've been doing a lot of work with our children and making sure that they have the proper resources. Some of the things that may have happened when we were in school are no longer appropriate. So we have to educate our professional staff and also our parents that this is not appropriate any longer, and these are the resources available for these things. So there's a lot of initiatives that we are currently working. And so they just come and we just continue to work them. So, it's ever evolving, should I say.
Now, we talked about the DA civilians, that you all also offer services to DA civilians. Are they able to utilize all of the services, or is it just certain ones that the civilians are able to take advantage of?
So some of the services are centric to the active duty population. So, for instance, the family advocacy, new parent support, exceptional family member, they are centric. But financial readiness, employment readiness, those things we do extend, because we want, no matter what, if it's an active duty soldier, spouse, retiree, DA civilian, we want them to be successful, because in order for them to be successful financially in their career as well, it makes them better people. Then they take better care of our soldiers and families, because they're working for them too.
Right.
You know, so we want them to be successful. So we do that, and they are our population. It's just that. So, for instance, if they had a special needs child and they needed some information in reference to the Exceptional Family Member Program, EFMP, of course, we're going to provide that and give them the information in reference to the community resources that are available and all of that. It's just that we would not be tracking them the way we have to track our active duty population with exceptional family members. Okay. We have requirements that we have to do with them.
Okay, understood. Getting out in the community to support and volunteer is always a rewarding thing that people like to do. How can soldiers and their family members get involved with ACS, and how can they volunteer with the Army Volunteer Corps?
So ACS, we have what is called the Volunteer Management Information System. It's called VMIS, where we track our hours. And so what we do is we make sure that those opportunities and position descriptions are all there in that system, so that soldiers can readily go in there and look and see, or family members can go in there and look and see what the opportunities are in their area. And so, but they can also go to an organization. You know, they know that Pick a Place says, you know, I have this opportunity to volunteer. Well, if they're not listed, then we need to get a point of contact so that we can create a position and get them in there. But there are numerous opportunities in the system already that says, hey, these are available, you apply. the organizational point of contact will then accept them, and then they do their volunteering and they record their hours in the VEMA system.
Okay.
And it's very important for them to record their hours, and the reason why is because in the end of the year, we take all of those hours and we equate them to dollars, and we provide the commander a dollar amount that it saved, excuse me, that it saved the government, and that this many people contributed back to his or her community, and this is what the dollar amount would have been, and it's usually hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh man.
You know, so we have anything from youth sports to working with our American Red Cross and a Warrior Warehouse, to some of the things that. Gardening. We have a community garden. So there's all kinds of things.
I do see the community garden when I'm on my way home.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things to volunteer in. And so there's something out there, and if you know something that's not listed, we can work it out. We just got to get with the point of contact on it.
And I'm glad you said the Warrior Warehouse. We just recently had Amy Grimm on our last episode of Army Life, and she's from the Warrior Warehouse, and she talked about all of the amazing things that they do and provide for soldiers on the military installation too. So if you guys have not listened to that episode, after you listen to this one, make sure you go back and listen to the one with Amy Grimm about the Army Warrior Warehouse here on Fort Knox.
Well, Will, I want to tell you, American Red Cross is one of our number one partners here on the installation. And the Warrior Warehouse is basically one of our biggest supplements. We talked about one of our programs, the relocation. We have a small lending closet. We're not mandated to have that any longer. Okay. But we keep that because the legacy soldiers and retirees even remember lending closet, okay? And so they refer our young soldiers to ACS, okay, which that's the appropriate thing to do. And we give them the things that we have, but we always refer to our partners. And so the Red Cross and the Warrior Warehouse have a beautiful lending closet that we rely on them to have because they have all the things that we don't.
Right.
And so it's a great partnership. They also, they have all of the things that they do with the donations of the things that people have donated, and they free of charge or minimum donation to keep that organization going. And it's a beautiful program. So we do partner with them a lot. And we appreciate them.
Let's give a round of applause to the Warrior Warehouse and ACS for just doing any and everything they can for our soldiers. We have a lot of different soldiers here on the military installation, all different type of ranks, so on and so forth. What advice would you give to one of those soldiers who may be hesitant to reach out to you all and ACS about your programs and services?
Well, not to wait, and don't wait till you're in crisis to reach out to us. We're here to help you. That's our job. That's what we've been hired to do, and we want to help you. And even if you were in crisis, we want you to reach out. But before then, let's get a handle on it. That's why we have the programs. They're here to help you. They're all voluntary services. So it's not mandated unless it's mandated by law. So it's important for the service members and the families to know that they have rights, they have confidentiality, and they get a say in their service decisions. So it's very important that they understand that this is for them. And we want to provide that. We've all been highly trained by the Department of Defense to make sure that we meet all of the standards and qualifications that are needed to run these programs individually. And so we have the expertise and beyond sometimes that our outside counterparts do.
For those who are listening to this episode and they want to do some more research and find more out about ACS, where can they go to find those resources?
Well, they can go to follow us on social media, Facebook. You can just type in Fort Knox Army Community Service and we'll pop up. You can also go to knox.armymwr.com and it'll list all of the resources there. You go under Home Life and then you'll see Army Community Services with all the programs there. And you can also go to the Fort Knox homepage and it will link you back up to the MWR site as well. But every installation has the military family support centers, and so the programs are basically the same. They just may do them at a different level.
Okay, now just a couple more questions before you get out of here. What is one key takeaway that you would like our audience to remember about ACS?
We're the answer, people. It's your first stop, no matter what. If you don't know, always, stop or call ACS first and let us help you. You don't have to find the answer, know the answer. That's what we do. And even if you're not located here, we do have a lot of service members that travel through Fort Knox, and they still call back to Fort Knox to ask questions or to get linked up to wherever is closest to them. So it's, we're kind of that conduit sometimes with the geographically dispersed that kind of filter through here. So it's okay, just get us, contact us and let us know how we can be of help, and we'll make sure you get the right point of contact. We like to do warm handoffs.
Okay. Now earlier I talked about your different, or just listed your 13 different programs that you all provide. So one thing that we would like to do is see if we could talk to some more individuals that are within your program, because I think that some of the programs and services that you all provide, if we could bring them on and speak with them, that would be a great opportunity to continue to spread the word about the services that you all provide. So that's something that we would like to look to do. I know that the Army recognizes, and just everybody recognizes, all sorts of holidays throughout of the year, or just observances throughout the year. Let's not say holidays, but observances. Because I've just seen one that was like National Son's Day, Daughters Day. So you get all these ones that come up. But you guys really do focus on particular one. So we would like to highlight some more of those individuals, bring them onto the show and just speak with them through our Army Life segments. So if there's anything else that you would like to say, or if we left anything out, the floor is yours. If not, we would like to say thank you for coming to speak with us on our Army Life segments and letting our viewers know more about Army Community Service. Like we said, you came in and you gave us an overview of the whole program. So in the future, we just want to go in and speak to some of those other individuals.
Would love for you to have each of the individual programs come on to discuss them individually, so that that the listeners and the audience can get a better understanding of each program, because we've only minutely touched on them today. So they need a little bit more about what they can be done.
That sounds like a plan to me. So, Ms. Wilson, again, thank you for coming by, speaking with us here at the AMEDD Effect. And for those out there who are listening, make sure that you all listen to these episodes, share the episodes. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on all of your podcast DSPs. So listen to the episode, spread the word, and just continue to check back with us as we continue to provide you with more great content about Army life and Army programs. Thank you. I'm out of here, and this is your host, Will Cunningham. The causes and effects of Army medical opportunities are endless. When you join the U.S. Army Medical Department, not only will you get more out of your medical career, but you will also provide meaningful service to soldiers, their families, military retirees, and last but not least, your country. To learn more about AMEDD, visit goarmy.com/AMEDD. That's goarmy.com/AMEDD. And if you're looking for information on tuition assistance, visit goarmy.com/HPSP. That's goarmy.com/HPSP.